ladies and gentlemen, to JWF Monday Night Ignition. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Silver Spoon, joined by the man who saved this company last night as he defeated Felix Ball. It is, of course, my co-commentator and the owner of the JWF, Captain Tibbs.
Welcome, everybody, to Monday Night to Ignition, to Captain Tibbs' new home and the JWF's too. And we're here for good.
That's right, we are coming off the heels of an absolutely historic Wrestlepalooza. You can, of course, go back, watch the replay on the Fight Boyz YouTube channel, get all caught up. But of course, Tibbs, what everybody's been talking about this whole time has been that main event. I mean, we've said it was going to be the end of the world, but we didn't expect it to be the heist of the century. When Scottye Moore, Mr. Cash in the bag, came out to the ring, interfered, struck our champion Mamoa Curry over the head with the briefcase, and turned the match into a damn triple threat.
Honestly, Sills, they say that he who plays with gods dies. But Scottye Moore seemed to come out no worse for wear and even better for it.
That's right, coming out with the JWF World Heavyweight Championship around his waist. And you gotta think, this is the last thing anyone was expecting. Earlier in the night, Scottye Moore suffered a vicious beatdown at the hands of his former associate, the Dylan. Scottye Moore, at that point, people thought he was depressed. People had said he had left the arena, but he shocked the world and became the brand new World Heavyweight Champion. But for now, Tibbs, Scottye Moore is heading to our ring right now. And I think he has a message for the entire JWF universe and for Mamoa Curry. Ladies and gentlemen of the JWF, your hero is here. You see, last night at Wrestlepalooza, I stepped foot into hell itself. And I faced off against two of the supposed most powerful competitors this company's ever seen. I faced off against, Mamoa Curry and, the Leviathan. I stepped between God and Satan himself, and despite their best efforts, I saved the world and took back the JWF Championship for the people. I took it back for humanity. I took it back for you ungrateful sons of bitches out here tonight. Because let's be honest, people, all of us, let's be honest, we saw the writing on the wall. Am I right? Mamoa Curry was covered in blood. He was getting choke slammed over and over again. His back was broken, his body unresponsive, and the Leviathan was about to end the very world itself. Which meant the only way out, the only beacon at the end of the tunnel was Scottye Moore. So I went out and I sacrificed myself for each and every one of you. I put myself between the god of the JWF and the devil himself, and I personally canceled the apocalypse. You're welcome, by the way. You see, I've told each and every one of you from the beginning that I was the hero of the JWF. I'm your savior, not Mamoa Curry. Scottye Moore is the hero of the JWF. And you know something, I gotta be honest, this is all thanks to one man, the Dylan. You see, the Dylan over this past month dedicated his life to systematically destroying me piece by piece, bit by bit. He took away my father, he took away my best friend, and he left me for the first time in this company truly alone. And while I was sitting there depressed after our match, broken and beating, watching Mamoa Curry get destroyed, watching the world end before my very eyes, I was led to one realization and one realization only, and that's the fact that over all of these years, over all of these title reigns, over all of these different adventures I've gotten to go on in this company, I didn't need a single fucking one of them to get to where I am today. I won the JWF Tag Team Championships. I won the Regal Rumble. I became Mr. Cash in the Bag on my fucking own. You see, ever since debuting in this company, whether you people knew it or not, I was dumb enough to actually care about you. When I was in the Dynasty, cared about making sure that everybody around me looked good, made sure the people loved Blake Tanner, the people loved the Dylan. But I'm done with that. I'm done trying to make these people around me look good when I've been working my ass off for years to get here, and they're getting the respect off my back. And you know what? You can boo me if you want. You can say it's the heist of the century, but you gotta face facts. You know I'm right. I've been your hero for years, and despite all of it, you still manage to hate me. You still manage to boo when I come out to the ring. Well, it seems to me at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the JWF motherfucking World Heavyweight Champion, and you can keep booing me, or you can accept the fact that I am the best damn thing that has ever happened to this company. You can accept the fact that I saved the world. You can accept the fact that I am your hero. I am your champion. And that's not going to change for a very, very long time. Well, Tibbs, let me tell you something. That sounds like a man who thought he was in the right last night, coming out to the ring, facing off against Mamoa Curry and the Leviathan, escaping with that title. I gotta know, do you agree with Scottye Moore? Do you honestly think that Scottye Moore was our saving grace last night?
Well, Sills, it's like they say. History is written by the victors, and everyone's the hero of their own personal story. I don't know that I have much to say about it other than we're still here.
That is a point, Tibbs, but that was not the only title to change hands last night. Let's not also forget that epic, absolute car crash of a match, that fatal four-way ladder match as the War Wizards took on the former champions, the Wild-Eyed Southern Boyz, took on the VWO, took on Bananas and Pajamas, and the War Wizards in their debut match here in the JWF managed to sneak away with the tag titles around their waists. And Tibbs, let me tell you something, the crowd went crazy. I'll be honest, they certainly got a better reception than Scottye Moore did.
I think it was magic, Sills. It was pure and unadulterated mysticism.
That is right, Tibbs, but some people who are certainly not happy are the men who were the champions walking in. And that is, of course, the team of Houston Longhorn and Sam Adams, the Wild-Eyed Southern Boyz. And we've actually sent one of our top interviewers backstage with the Wild-Eyed Southern Boyz to hear their response after this amazing match last night. Let's have a listen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am backstage with the team of Sam Adams and Houston Longhorn, the men known as the Wild-Eyed Southern Boyz. Now, boys, last night at Wrestlepalooza, you lost your titles to the War Wizards in what was an absolute epic fatal four-way ladder match. I need to know, how are the former champions reacting to this encounter?
Oh, former champions! Former champions. Is that what you want to call us? That's what you want to call us over there? No. As far as I'm concerned, we're the rightful champions. And we had to deal with a damned robbery last night. You see, everybody's saying the heist of the century, it happened at Wrestlepalooza, but it didn't involve Scottye Moore. It involved the War Wizards. You see, that's all the War Wizards are, glorified thieves. You see, they've been jealous of us our entire damn careers. They couldn't cut the mustard back in JXT, a place where I, Houston Longhorn, was the World Heavyweight Champion, a place where my partner here, Sam Adams, was such a standout that they called him up to this company the first chance they got. Meanwhile, the War Wizards, they did nothing but flounder away in that company until the day they got kicked out. And so they decided to come to the JWF. They were already a small fish in an even smaller pond down in JXT, and they became guppies here in our company. and they decide to politic their way into this match. A match where we don't even got to be pinned to be victorious. A match where the champions don't have to be involved in the deciding victory. Does that sound right to you, Sam? Well, I gotta say it certainly doesn't there, Longhorn, but you see, that's perfectly fine. Because in my opinion, things certainly aren't over between us and the War Weasels. You see, Houston over here likes to get fired up, but as far as I'm concerned, this puts us in the greatest position possible. A position to prove that the War Wizards are the exact same jokes in JWF that they were in JXT. And we're gonna prove that when we get our titles back and make them wish they never stepped foot in this company in the first place. Because the War Wizards are thieves, and the wild-eyed Southern Boyz are here to prove the South will rise again, baby. Take that to the bank, War Weasels. Well, Tibbs, looks like the wild-eyed Southern Boyz are on a warpath, if you will, to go after the War Wizards. They want those title back, and let me tell you something, given the run the wild-eyed Southern Boyz have been on lately, I don't think the wisest place for the War Wizards to be is anywhere near this arena, because these men look like they are bloodthirsty.
I don't know, Sills. It kind of looks like a cornered animal to me. You gotta know how some of these guys think. They're afraid, Sills. They're trying to machismo their way out of it. They want to fight. They want to try to get their titles back. But they're a little scared.
That is right, Tibbs. And speaking of a man who, I'll be honest, seemed scared last night at Wrestlepalooza, I want to talk about a man named Blake Tanner, a man who was facing off against one of his biggest adversaries, the Hammerman, and Blake seemed to throw everything he had at the Hammerman, utilizing the Blake Panther submission, the Blake out stomp, the bee sting, everything Blake Tanner could throw at the Hammerman, he threw, and the Hammerman kept getting back up, which of course led to that DQ victory for the Hammerman when Blake Tanner just decided to bring a steel chair in the ring and assault the masked man. And Tibbs, I know you were upset with that DQ.
It was just painful to watch, Sills. That wasn't a competition between two men. If that had been any other type of match, sure, it would have been legal, it would have been fine. This was just a pure wrestling match, and Blake Tanner had to go and ruin it.
That's right, Tibbs, and that is why you've made this rematch to happen tonight. Hammerman versus Blake Tanner once again. And you've said that there will be a decisive victory, no DQ, in this match.
Absolutely, Sills. We will not have the sanctity of the one fall ruined tonight.
That's right. And Hammerman starting off the match, just rushing Blake Tanner, tackling him to the earth, just furiously landing shots down onto the skull of the man known as the Bee. And Tibbs, Blake is forced to scramble to the outside, but you can tell the Hammerman is furious after those chair shots from last night.
Of course, Sills. I would be too. I was furious last night.
All right, but now Blake trying to formulate a game plan on the outside, but the Hammerman not letting him, bouncing off the ropes, and a beautiful tope gongero to one of his biggest rivals. Hammerman just leveling Blake Tanner. You can tell Blake has been thrown off his game as Hammerman tosses him into the ring, and then... Wait, Tibbs, what in the world was that? It's the same static that happened during their match last night. What in the world's going on?
I don't know. I'm sorry. It just must be those sound problems again, damn it.
Well, now it looks like the Hammerman looking confused as well, but Blake taking advantage. Blake taking advantage, rolling up the Hammerman, going for a count. 1, 2, but Hammerman reversing into a pinning predicament of his own. 1, 2, and Blake barely kicking out before the 3 count, but quickly gets leveled by the Hammerman with that big spin kick to the side of the Bee's head. And you can see the Hammerman is closing in on it, Tibbs, going to the top rope, preparing himself for that vicious hammer leg drop maneuver he's utilized to take down many times before. But wait a minute! Blake Tanner getting to his feet, knocking the Hammerman's feet out from underneath him. And Tibbs, you know that cannot feel good on the little hammer as it falls down.
No. Right on the anvil.
That's right. Now Blake going to the top rope, and Oh, Tibbs, what in the world is Blake Tanner thinking? What is he doing? He's picked up the Hammerman and, lands that massive bee sting, that beautiful brainbuster off the top rope into the mat, dropping the Hammerman directly onto his skull. Blake going for the pin. 1, 2. Oh, Hammerman just barely kicking out. But Tibbs, let me tell you something. Hammerman, the masked man, doesn't seem to be in a good way.
No, but he's still in it. And anytime the Hammerman's in it, he can win it.
That's right. Now Blake backing up, looking for the Blake out. That vicious stomp that nearly won him the match last night. Blake looking prime. Looking Tibbs, what the hell? There it is again. The static. That static returned. You can tell Blake Tanner is shook looking around the arena.
I honestly don't know what it is, Sills. We've checked all the systems.
But Hammerman's still set up. Blake Tanner shaking it off, going for the Blake out, but no! Hammerman dodges it! Hammerman dodges it! Blake tried to just jammed his knee into the mat, stomping down into it. Hammerman bounces off the ropes and the big hammer boot straight to the skull. Levels Blake Tanner. The masked man going for the pinfall of that big hammer boot. 1, 2, 3. And with that, Tibbs, the Hammerman, has to feel some vindication for that DQ victory last night at Wrestlepalooza.
That's exactly what I wanted to see, Sills. A straight victory, and the first victory for the Hammerman on Monday Night Ignition.
That's right, but wait a minute. Oh my God, Blake Tanner with a massive forearm strike to the back of the Hammerman's skull. You can see our referee, Shibata, trying to pry Blake Tanner away, but the bee has become unleashed, just assaulting the Hammerman. This is vicious.
No, this is not what I wanted at all, Sills.
That's right, and let me tell you something. If Blake Tanner had brought this kind of viciousness, this kind of aggression last night, he might have been able to win against the Hammerman, but... Tibbs, there it is again, the static, but it's not stopping. It's getting louder. It's getting louder, Tibbs.
I don't know. Somebody's got to put the music down.
Join us, ladies and gentlemen, as we take a trip back to the 1970s.
Oh my God, Tibbs, we know that music. We know that music! It's the music of Hollywood Hulcher! Hollywood Hulcher, the JXT standout, is here, and he is making a beeline straight for Blake Tanner, Tibbs!
No, Sills, Hollywood Hulcher. I never expected him.
That's right, Blake Tanner looking like he has seen a ghost as Hollywood just rushes the ring. Blake Tanner quickly escaping to the outside, but you can see that dumbfounded look on Blake Tanner's face. I don't think he expected Hulcher to be anywhere near the JWF tonight.
No, and this is a terrifying development, Sills. Hollywood Hulcher, he may be dancing around, he may have some fun Hollywood swing music, but he is a bloodthirsty bastard.
That's right, Hollywood picking up the Hammerman, though. And you can see the Hammerman a little bit confused, a little bit rocked. But there it is, Hollywood with the ultimate show of respect, raising the hand of the Hammerman, Tibbs. And let me tell you something, that is a show of respect between two elite competitors right there.
100%, Sills. That's, if there's anybody you'd want to save you, it would be a guy like Hollywood.
That's right. I mean, let's not forget Hollywood winning the inaugural Highway to Hell tournament last October in JXT, a match that, let's be honest, literally saved his entire life, Tibbs.
Yes. 7 other people died, Sills. That's the big thing.
Yeah, it was a rough one, Tibbs. Let's be honest, though. But ever since that, Hollywood had been on a run down in JXT, challenging for the BS Championship numerous times. Hollywood has seemed to be in the top brass of JXT, but he has debuted here for JWF, and it looks like he has made an enemy in the man known as Blake Tanner. Oh, wait, Tibbs, I'm getting a report backstage. It looks like Mamoa Curry, the former JWF champion, has been found backstage. We didn't think he was coming to the show tonight.
No, I told him to stay home.
That's right. I mean, you got to think last night, that was Mamoa Curry's entire life had built up to that moment, waiting, praying for the moment that he could put down the Leviathan, but then it was just unceremoniously taken away from him by Scottye Moore and then quickly pinned to the mat. And adding to that frustration, let's not forget, Mamoa Curry has still yet to be able to pin Scottye Moore into this ring. So you got to think Mamoa Curry's pissed, Tibbs.
I would be too, having everything like that grand victory stolen right out from under my nose. It's gotta have him in a state of pure rage.
That's right. Well, we are sending our second top interviewer backstage to talk to Mamoa about his reactions to the match last night. Let's have a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, Don McDonald, excited to actually still have a job here, and I am here with the man known as the God of the JWF and the former JWF World Heavyweight Champion, Mamoa Curry. Now, Mamoa, at Wrestlepalooza, everything seemed to be on the losing end for you, and the Leviathan honestly seemed like he was on his way to taking your title and your life, until Scottye Moore cashed in and effectively saved your bacon, which is why—
Don't you dare say Scottye Moore saved anything last night. No, don't you dare say that man inserted himself into my title match thinking he was going to do the right thing. No, Scottye Moore is an opportunist. And he took advantage of a bloodied and frankly broken God last night. Did you not notice how he tried his best to avoid the Leviathan, how he focused all of his attacks on me, how he pinned me? No, if Scottye Moore was truly the hero he says he was, he would have helped me beat the Leviathan. But ever the opportunist, he decided to crack me over the skull with a steel chair and sneak out with the fastest possible victory he could get. But it is true, the Leviathan is gone. Keeping the JWF title away from him weakened him to a point where he can no longer interfere in this company again. I wish I could have been the one to look him in the eyes as he fell back into the pit of hell itself. I wish the God of the JWF last night could have proved that he was just that. But I couldn't, and it kills me inside, McDonald. It kills me that a normal mortal was able to destroy the Leviathan, and I couldn't. It kills me that Scottye Moore is walking away from this arena with my title today. But all of this pain, all of this anger, all of this hatred, I will return tenfold the minute I get my hands on Scottye Moore. And I can guarantee that.
Well, Tibbs, if I was Scottye Moore, I'd certainly be looking for a plane out of here or some sort of escape. What do you think?
You can feel the ground rumbling with that. I don't think Mamoa Curry's finished with that man yet.
That's right, Tibbs, and let's not forget, though, Scottye Moore, never been pinned by Mamoa Curry. He's always been able to get the upper hand, and that is definitely infuriating Mamoa Curry at this point, the fact that he's never been able to get a win over him. But of course, in this brand new company, in this brand new JWF Ignition era, we know those wins and losses, Tibbs, they're going to start counting a lot more than they did back on Monday Night War.
As a matter of fact, Sills, why don't I just head down to the ring and tell you all about it?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Captain Tibbs heads down to the ring, let me remind you, this is JWF Monday Night Ignition. Don't change the channel. Monday Night War is dead, and Ignition lives. But this isn't just a new home for us. Everything is going to change, and it's going to start with this proclamation from Captain Tibbs. Let's have a listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I guess it's time that I, Captain Tibbs, officially welcome you to JWF Monday Night Ignition. This is a new era for the JWF, a new attitude that we will take to the professional wrestling profession.
where I will now make decisions based on wins and losses and not who I happen to like the most that week. So Hammerman, you better keep winning, you son of a bitch. And not only that, we're gonna have more time. We've got a longer time slot for all of the wrestling action you crave. We're gonna have more intense promos with more emotion than ever. And all that JWF goodness you've come to know and love. But there's also gonna be something brand new up and coming in the future, and that's gonna be your brand new JWF Captain's Champion. You see, well, our last Captain's Champion is currently sitting his ass hogtied on the cheapest train I could find back to Canada, and he's never, ever coming back to this company again. Do you hear me, Paul? You son of a bitch, you're never coming back. You're gonna be banned. You're banned forever. Banned for 100 years. Banned for 1,000 years. You're gonna rot away in a fucking Tim Hortons, you son of a bitch, and choke on poutine or something like a cheese curd, you piece. Sorry about that. Captain got a little carried away. But that means that the Captain's Championship is effectively vacated. No, I am not the new Captain's Champion. I am just your captain. So that means that this belt needs a hole. We need to find a new Captain's Champion. And I figured, well, only way to do that is to have a tournament. A little tournament that I'm gonna call the best of the best. I'm gonna bring to the table the biggest names this company has to offer. And then on May 10th, at our pay-per-view, Resurrection, our new champion will be crowned. And it all starts next week as the Dylan faces off against the Hammerman. And in your main event, you will see the debut of Hollywood Holcher as he faces off against the man that, well, he's already targeted, Blake Tanner.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, an amazing announcement there from Captain Tibbs. I mean, I think we all knew we'd need a new Captain's Champion after Felix Ball was unceremoniously had his ass kicked out of this company. But to have this great tournament, oh, wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, the music of the Lord of the Smart Side himself, the man known as the Dylan, the man who defeated the current JWF champion last night at Wrestlepalooza. And the Dylan, he has got that big smirk on his face. And let me tell you something, we don't usually see the Dylan too happy, but he seems very happy with this announcement from Captain Tibbs. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Tibbsy, how are you now? You good? You been drinking? Holy shit, your breath. Anyway, appreciate that in your drunken Snoopy you for a split second snapped back to your senses and put me in the tournament to be the Captain's Champion, to return to being the Captain's Champion, the greatest Captain's Champion that I once was. You could have just handed me the belt. Of course, saved us all of this pageantry, but I understand you're old school. You like a tournament. It takes some time where you can also get drunk. God damn your breath. Anyway, I am going to win this tournament. I don't care who it is, some weird, the Hulcher with a bandana from the West Coast. I don't know where the fuck you find these people. Blake Tanner on the downward spiral that he's on. I'm sure I can just kick him once and he'll go down. Hammerman, fuck the Hammerman. Anyway, I'm going to win this tournament. One way or the other. I'm going to get gold back around my waist after far too long. And the captain, the true Captain Tibbs, is going to take control of this ship. And I'm going to do what I promised to do the last time I held this belt. Take this ship, ride it into the sunset, and raise that championship up above the JWF World Championship where it belongs. As soon as I get it where it belongs, right around my waist.
Well, Tibbs, welcome back to the announce table, and let me tell you something, the Dylan seems focused, the Dylan seems ready, and I gotta be honest, the last time that Captain's Championship really seemed to have an elevated importance in this company was when it was around the waist of the Dylan. He certainly seemed to elevate that title, and let me tell you something, if I had to pick an early finalist for this tournament, it would be that man standing right there.
Dylan has certainly called his shot, Sills, but that's why I put him against the Hammerman in his first match. Probably the greatest challenge he might have to face in this whole tournament.
That is right, Tibbs, but of course that is going to be next week, along with Hollywood Hulcher, facing off against the man known as Blake Tanner. And Tibbs, let me tell you something, it's going to be explosive when those two face off, and I'm just getting word right now we're also going to be hearing from the JWF champion. He's going to respond to Mamoa Curry's words from earlier in the night. And Tibbs, let me tell you something, I know Scottye cannot be happy.
Oh, no. Mamoa Curry has essentially undermined everything that Scottye Moore tried to achieve last night. This is gonna be a bloodfest.
That is right, Tibbs. But of course, until then, remember to support the JWF. Donate to the Patreon of our parent company, the BS Network. Patreon.com/a-load-of-BS. Donate that money, and we may even bring you into JXT. If you want to get a shot in the wrestling world, you could be brought into our developmental territory like Ghazi. I mean, let's be honest, Tibbs, if you want to talk about big names in the JXT, Ghazi's got to be up there.
Oh yeah, that tiny boy real strong.
And of course, if you want to join Ghazi down in JXT, you can by donating to the Patreon at patreon.com/a-load-of-BS. And remember to pick up shirts for all your favorite JWF superstars online at merch.a-load-of-purebs.com. Click on the Fight Boyz section. Go down to JWF Wrestling. You'll find shirts for Captain Tibbs. We got a Tibbs poster. We've got shirts for some of your favorite JXT standouts like the Jebediah, like Ghazi. Make sure to support us online at merch.a-load-of-purebs.com, Tibbs.
Absolutely, Sills.
But of course, in order to see what happens next, you're gonna have to tune in next time to JWF Monday Night Ignition.